Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
First of all, let's give our honorees a big round of applause. I'd like to welcome you to the 8th Annual White Coat Ceremony of the Department of Undergraduate Nursing Education. My name is Dr. Barbara Blackwell, and I am proud to be the undergraduate chairperson to our honored students. The White Coat Ceremony has been a rite of passage for new physicians to welcome them into the medical profession. In 2014, the Arnold P. Gold Foundation with the American Association of Colleges of Nurses joined together to begin a pilot program for the White Coat Ceremony for nursing. Today, more than 360 schools of nursing now participate in the White Coat Ceremony, and the number continues to grow. Each student will receive a pin. On it is written, "Keeping Healthcare Human." The pin serves as a visual reminder to the students that in order to deliver the best care to their patients, compassion and empathy must be the hallmark of their clinical practice. The patients are at the center of everything that we do as nurses. The most important element of the ceremony is the oath that the students take in front of family members, school leadership, and their peers to acknowledge their central obligation of caring for patients. So without any further delay, we shall begin our ceremony.
Good afternoon, our honorees, to our families, our friends, all of you, our faculty, all of you who are here today. I stand before you to give you an introduction of our guest speaker. We chose this guest speaker because he is familiar with our junior class and he has already made an impact on our junior class. And so I thought it noteworthy that we have Dr. Ivan Pierce as our guest speaker. His bio is as follows. He is a native of Surrey County, Virginia, and is the son of Dr. Marion Pierce Jr. of Oxon Hill, Maryland, and Mrs. Lynn Iris Davis of Hampton, Virginia. Dr. Pierce was educated in Surrey County Public School System and was a 1990 grad of Surrey County High School. After graduating high school, he attended Old Dominion University here in Norfolk, Virginia, where he received a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology. Despite having a degree in psychology, Dr. Pierce was intrigued by hospital nurses' role. As a young child who had been hospitalized a few times, Dr. Pierce recalls the positive impact during his stay in the hospital. As it happens, he was born and hospitalized a few times, as a young child, did historical work I present to you Dr. Ivan Pierce.
Good afternoon. Y'all can say that better, right? Good afternoon. All right. The Hampton University School of Nursing. It is a privilege and an honor for me to stand before you today on such an auspicious occasion as your white coat ceremony. The wearing of the white coat in healthcare certainly symbolizes a sense of accomplishment, professionalism, respect, and pride. So I'd like to take a few moments to give you just a few words that will provide a little history, some quotes, some personal experience, and certainly a little scripture. There was a blind girl who hated herself because she was blind. She hated everyone except her loving boyfriend. You see, he was always there for her. Often, she would say that if she could only see the world, she would marry her boyfriend. One day, someone donated a pair of eyes to her, and so she would be able to have eye surgery. The surgery took several hours but was successful. After the surgery, she could now see everything, including her boyfriend. Very happy about this, her boyfriend asked her, "Now that you can see the world, will you marry me?" The girl was shocked when she saw that her boyfriend was blind too and refused to marry him. Heartbroken by this, the boyfriend walked away in tears and later wrote a letter to her saying, "Just take care of my eyes, dear." The moral of this story has many takeaways, but most will agree that it is about change. You see, in life, many of us allow circumstances to change us. I challenge you as you embark on your new career as a healthcare provider to not let all circumstances change you, but rather I encourage you to change circumstances through compassion and caring. What am I saying to you today? Don't let circumstances change your divine purpose. Regardless of the circumstances that are presented to you as future nurses, you must continue to fulfill your purpose. So on today, as you take an oath in your white coats, I would ask you to embrace all aspects of humanism and to acknowledge that there is purpose in the symbolism of the color white. With that being said, I want you to remember the acronym PURPOSE. Peace. Preserve your physical and mental health. Undoubtedly, good health is an important part of being self-reliant. And as professional nurses, safeguarding your health will allow you to fulfill your divine potential while you serve others more effectively. Self-care is mandated by the American Nurses Association Code of Ethics. Specifically, the 5th provision of the ANA Code of Ethics states, "The nurse owes the same duty to self as to others, including the responsibility to promote health and safety, as well as preserve wholeness of character and integrity." Did you know that the physical health and sometimes the mental health of American nurses is often worse than that of the general population, especially in regards to nutrition, sleep, and physical activity? Now, while it may be hard for you to believe, some studies have shown that many nurses are overweight. Some of this can be attributed to stress from long shifts, lack of exercise, poor diet habits, and mental exhaustion. Now let's consider physical health from a spiritual perspective. The primary purpose of the human body is to provide a residence for the Holy Spirit. Therefore, we must be mindful to take good care of the body, because to take care of the body is not just to take care of you, but to take care of the God in you. One great benefit of maintaining our physical health is that we double our ability to glorify God. How? Because when we worship Him in our physical body, we also worship Him in our spirit. Scripture says, "A prudent person person perceives danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. Now, and to this point, we must eat healthier and exercise, get our annual checkups. And ladies, I need you to get your breast exams. Men, I need you to get your prostate exams. But I want you to look at your neighbor now and say, look at your neighbor. When you feel better, your spirit allows you to think better. And then you do better. Now go get that colonoscopy. You understand that you still will be uncomfortable at times on your journey toward purpose. In fact, I challenge you as future nurses to be comfortable being uncomfortable. The great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Quite simply, it is the moments where everything is going well and things are worked out as planned when things are comfortable. I wish I could tell you that you will never have uncomfortable moments as a professional nurse, but that will be far from the truth. Whether it's dealing with a dying patient, dealing with a particular difficult patient or family member, dealing with an ethical issue that challenges your moral standards, or simply providing treatment that is very uncomfortable to your patient. We all have those moments of being uncomfortable, and you will too. But in these moments of comfort, God sometimes calls us to be uncomfortable. These are the seasons where God pushes us outside of our comfort zone and allows us to grow and develop professionally and spiritually. Looking back at certain moments in my life, this is something that I've realized. When I'm facing trials, God will comfort me. But when I'm comfortable, I know God will challenge me. So when you sit down and really think about being uncomfortable, God will give you two things to remember. There is no growth without discomfort, and there is no need for God if life is always comfortable. All right. Restore your sense of resilience. In your quest to fulfill purpose, you may fall down, but you can get back up. In the words of Nelson Mandela, "Don't judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." Nurses are some of the most resilient people in this world. You see, as professional nurses, there will be letdowns. There will be times when you may feel physically and mentally exhausted, leading to compassion fatigue. There will be times when you won't be the expert of every clinical practice or clinical skill. There will be times when you won't save every patient. And there may even be times when you feel emotionally disconnected from being on the front lines of healthcare in a major pandemic like COVID-19. But on today, I want you to understand that if you focus on the hurt and pain of your letdowns, you will continue to suffer. If you focus on the lessons learned, you will continue to grow. P, proceed as pioneers. The great Maya Angelou said, "If you are going to live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that can't be erased." Scripture says, "Then you will know which way to go, since you have never been this way before, and the Lord will do amazing things among you." Whether you know it or not, you are sitting on the grounds of an institution that influenced the great work of a few pioneers and trailblazers who made an impact on health equity right here on the peninsula. In the early 1900s, African Americans in Newport News and Hampton were marginalized by society and not allowed in mainstream hospitals. Did you know that? For many years, they were treated in the jails if they got sick. It wasn't until several black physicians who had a vision came together to establish a hospital in the East End section of Newport News to provide care for African Americans. That hospital was named the Whitaker Memorial Hospital, and one first and few hospitals in the country to be designed by two Black architects, Charles Russell, a Hampton Institute graduate, and William Henry Moses, the former director of architectural program here at Hampton University. I was born at Whitaker Memorial and hospitalized there a few times as a child. And as a young patient at Whitaker Memorial, I saw Black physicians and nurses provide culturally competent care to African American communities, which influenced my decision to go into healthcare. This historical institution on 28th Street closed in 1985, but many of those prominent physicians and nurses on staff were pioneers and trailblazers who broke barriers to ensure humanism and health equity for the underserved community. So as you begin to fulfill your purpose in life, take your rightful place as one who can leave a legacy. And don't be afraid to step out and challenge the status quo. Expounding on our trailblazers' vision for health equity, we must serve as pioneers to change and advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now we've made some progress, but we must continue to educate society that diversity is just half the battle. You see, there must be equity and inclusion. I equate diversity as being invited to sit at the table. I equate inclusion as being able to eat and enjoy the meal while sitting at the dinner table. And I equate equity as being able to have access to the same food as everybody else sitting at the table and not scraps and leftovers. As future nurse graduates of this credible institution of higher learning, you will be equipped and expected to help others who have been sitting at the table understand why you need to be at the table. You will have those who question the need for culturally competent care and its impact on decreasing healthcare disparities. As you wear white coats today, know that you will also be expected to make a difference in the lives of people as you embark on your journey toward humanism. Oprah Winfrey once stated, "Step out of the history that is holding you back and step into the new story you are willing to create." Whether it's pioneers like Estelle Osborne, the first Black woman in the United States to obtain a master's degree in nursing and one who advocated for other people of color to achieve advanced degrees in nursing, or Dr. Ernest Grant, the first male who is African American to become president of the American Nurses Association, and one who was committed to improving diversity in nursing and advocating against racism, or even yours truly, the first male chief nursing officer in the history of Riverside whatever you do in life, do it with a spirit of excellence. Dr. King says, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. But while achieving great things as a nurse in life with that spirit of excellence, I want you to understand that you will not always know the answer to every question or the solution for every problem. In fact, oftentimes it will be necessary for you as healthcare providers to just listen and seek to understand before being understood. There is a story of a 24-year-old man who was looking from a train window as the train was moving down the tracks. He shouted with excitement, "Dad, look at the trees, they're going behind us." His dad just smiled and nodded. Now on the train, there was a successful and wealthy couple sitting nearby. They looked at this 24-year-old man that they felt his behavior was childish, but they looked at him with pity and irritation. Again, he said, "Dad, look at the clouds, they're running with us." The couple couldn't resist any longer and said to the old man, "Why don't you take your son to a good doctor?" The old man smiled and said, "I did, and we are just coming from the hospital. You see, my son was blind from birth. He just got his eyes today, and now for the first time he can see the wonders of this beautiful earth." The couple dropped their heads and didn't say another word for the remainder of the train ride. So always remember, as you fulfill your divine purpose, those who judge will never understand, and those who understand will never judge. Before you assume, learn the facts. Before you judge someone else's actions, understand why. Before you hurt one another, feel. And certainly before you think, speak. Or before you speak, think. Sorry. Eat. Endure when exhausted. When fulfilling our purpose as nurses, there will be periods of time when we may want to give up for various reasons. Truthfully, we may be physically and mentally exhausted and begin to have compassion fatigue. When providing care day in and day out, we may even ask ourselves, is my commitment to my purpose even worth it? Will I really make a difference to those I serve? The great Dr. Gene Watson quotes, "Maybe this one moment with this one person is the very reason we're here on earth at this time." I remember as a new nurse, I was working on a post-surgical unit. I had received a report from the evening nurse. One of the patients that I had received a report on was a post-op abdominal surgical patient. In report, the previous nurse had informed me that this patient had not gotten out of bed and refused to increase her mobility. Now, as a nurse, we have that scientific knowledge, right? We know that this patient is at risk for pneumonia and ileus, DVT, all those things. All that stuck with me was that the patient hadn't gotten out of bed and wasn't moving. When I made my first round on the patient that night, I went into the room and said, "Hi, Ms. Jones. My name's Ivan. I'm going to be your nurse tonight. I'm told you have not moved today, which is not good, and we need to get you up." She looked at me and said, "How about asking, how am I? Or how was my day today? Before pushing orders. I've been a little down today because I just found out that my close friend died from cancer. I know I'm a patient in the hospital, but I'm still a person who has feelings." I took that moment to reflect on the value of compassion as a nurse. One of the favorite quotes from Maya Angelou is, as a nurse, we have the opportunity to heal the mind, soul, heart, and body for our patients, their families, and ourselves. They may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Now, I'd like to leave you with one last story before I take my seat, if that's okay with you. This is the story of a young boy who was around the age of 6. One night, while he was in bed, this little boy began to have severe abdominal pain. He called out to his mother, who came and found him in agony. She described this experience dressed in all white, standing on the stairwell. Going back to remember I said in the beginning, white, the symbolism of white. When the mother got to the little boy's hospital room, this strange woman that was seen on the stairwell entered the room. The woman said to the mother, "This is the little boy." The mother said, "Excuse me, do I know you?" She again replied, "This is the little boy." "There is a little boy in this hospital with severe abdominal pain." The mother said, "Yes, this is my son with abdominal pain." She looked at the little boy and then the mom and replied, "Do you believe in the power of prayer?" The mother said, "Yes, I do." The strange woman began to pray for this little boy. And the mother said, while this woman was fervently praying, the woman began to sweat profusely with a white glow around her head, and the room began to illuminate with a bright white light. The little boy's eyes got wide open while he looked at his mother and this strange woman. After she finished praying, she looked at the mother and said, "I don't care where you take him. They won't find what's wrong with him. But I know that he is healed." Now at this point, the mother was having several emotions as she was reflecting on what had just happened, this supernatural experience. After a few moments, when she got herself together, she wanted to thank this woman. But this woman had already left the room. Right outside the room was a nurse's station, so the mother went to the nurse's station and asked, "Where's the lady at?" The nurse replied, they hadn't seen anybody, and they had been sitting there for a while. The mother was like, "No, there was just a lady in this room. Where did she go?" "We haven't seen anybody." The mother then had to leave the hospital to go meet family, but would be back later that evening to see her little boy. On the ride home, she began to have periods of laughter, alternating with tears, as she thought about what had just happened to her little boy. When she got to her family, she shared what had happened at the hospital. Her family believed that she and her little boy had witnessed an angel. Now many asked, was this a true story? What happened to the little boy? Well, I stand here before you 40 years later to tell you that I was that little boy in that hospital bed, and the story is very true. You see, because God had favor over my life at an early age and knew that he had a divine purpose for my life is the reason why I can stand here today and challenge you to find and to fulfill your purpose. So as future nurses, always be reminded that there is a purpose for your life, and there is something inside of you that is so strong that will give you motivation to fulfill your ministry as a nurse. And these are the words of a song that I want to leave with you. As the songwriter says, the higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me. You can decide to turn your face away, no matter, because there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought my pride was gone. Oh no, there's something inside so strong. Something inside so strong.
standing, please. At this time, we will recite our oath. And the oath is on the back of your program. Okay, so repeat after me. As a nurse, dedicated to providing the highest quality care and services, I solemnly pledge that I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering of my primary concerns. Act in a compassionate and trustworthy manner in all aspects of my care. Apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients. Exercise sound professional judgment while abiding by legal and ethical requirements. Accept the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence. Promote, advocate for, and strive to protect the health, safety, and rights of the patient. With this pledge, I accept the duties and responsibilities that embody the nursing profession. I take this oath voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. I take this oath voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. Congratulations.
Thank you for that inspirational address. Those nuggets that you gave us, we can use. And I am so glad that angel appeared in your room and Now to the honorees. It is indeed an honor for me to bring remarks for the 2023 White Coat Ceremony. You are to serve as an example for others to ascribe to those attributes that were so important in your reaching this milestone. Today, all members of the School of Nursing, students, faculty, staff, and alumni are proud to say that the ideals upon which the School of Nursing was founded 132 years ago have held true and will continue to form the basis for the education of outstanding nurses in this century and beyond. Students in the School of Nursing have always felt the call to service, be it university or community activities. I would like to recognize those of you who have participated in ongoing health screenings, COVID vaccine clinics, and other older adult clinics conducted on the mobile unit. So, for those of you in the audience, especially I almost said retirees, the honorees, if you would stand and be acknowledged by those of us in the room. If you have participated in any of those activities, Kennedy Cotton, Tamir Hill, Micah Savage, Brianna Stanley, Tamir White, and Kalia Boyd. Can we give all of them? And now, I would like for Gabriella Christmas to stand. This is just a small little certificate to thank you for taking the time out of your weekend to join us while we were taking time out of our weekend. So thank you.
This way, Gabby.
Okay, Tamara Hill. Thank you also for taking your time out while we took our time.
This way.
Okay, so honorees, families, friends, honorees again, congratulations. Keep it moving toward graduation and go Pirates.